Today we're gonna change it up a bit on this channel. We're gonna film the first Chef Adam cooking video. Is that good? Okay, so we watch it or?
Yeah, we can watch it, Tig.
Okay. Rolling on a river.
Chef Adam, scene 3, take 2.
So to start off your grilled cheese, first thing you're gonna need is some good bread. What we have here is a nice brioche white bread. It's nice and thick, so it's gonna hold in a lot of those flavors for us, and it's gonna add a nice crispiness to it when it gets in the pan. So for every grilled cheese, we're gonna need some really good quality cheese. So what we got here is some nice sharp white cheddar cheese. We also have some nice creamy and light in taste provolone. And then we have some really good, nice and simple Muenster monster cheese. Also, the last cheese I have here, which you'll see what I'll do with in a moment, it's a little tip, but we have some Parmesan Reggiano. Then also what we have here is some fresh arugula, which is gonna add a nice pepperiness to our grilled cheese. Some butter, of course. We also have a shallot, and then we also have some garlic. To make our tomato bacon jam, we have some bacon. And along with that, we also have some cherry tomatoes, and then we also have some balsamic vinegar. And then a grater. Okay, so we're gonna start by cutting up our little grape tomatoes. I'm just gonna cut them in half, something nice and simple. No need to cut them like super fancy or anything. So the reason why I'm gonna use grape tomatoes instead of regular tomatoes is because grape tomatoes have just a little more sweetness than the regular tomatoes do, and they'll cook down a lot quicker inside of our bacon tomato jam. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to cut up that bacon. This bacon's going to add such a nice smoky flavor, and it's going to add that umami flavor that we're looking for. And we're just going to want to go ahead and cut off some of that fat that's on here. And you guys don't have to throw away the rest of this fat. If you feel kind of grossed out about it, go ahead and do it. But what you can do is also save it, cook it down, use that excess bacon fat, and use it for like hash browns. But I'm not going to. So after we got that bacon all cut up into nice little pieces, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our pan, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our bacon to the pan. We're gonna cook it on medium-high heat, and what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna run out all that fat, so we have nice and crispy bacon for our bacon jam. Render. So now when that bacon's all nice and crispy, we're gonna wanna go and add in those cherry tomatoes. That's good. We're not gonna add any salt. Does this look like it maybe made too much? Yeah. Okay, that's good. So we're not gonna add any salt just because the bacon has a lot of salt in it already. We're gonna add in some fresh cracked black pepper. Ooh, the natural like sugars and a lot of like the water content inside the tomatoes is what is evaporating, and the natural sugars behind it starting to make like this like jammy kind of like sloppy stuff with like the bacon fat, and it's so good. So once we start to find that jammy like consistency, we're gonna want to go ahead and add about, I would say, a quarter cup of balsamic vinegar. Oh yes. So I went ahead and added some brown sugar, just about a fourth of a cup of brown sugar. It's gonna take off a lot of those tart flavors and not a lot of nice earthy sweetness. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna prepare the shallots, and what we're gonna do is just gonna crisp up in the pan a bit. It's gonna add a little bit more flavor to our grilled cheese. So when cutting your shallot, you have two ends. You have the sprouting end, and then you have the root end. What we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna cut off the sprouting end. So to start, we're gonna cut off right here. Then you're gonna wanna put it nice and flat on the table and cut right down the middle of that root. We're just gonna go and we're just gonna cut some nice little strands out of it. I'm gonna start crying because the onion. These are stronger than regular onions, it's so bad. Then we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna add this to our pan. And we're gonna put in a little bit of oil and get them all nice and crispy. What we're gonna do with this garlic is we're gonna go ahead and add that in. But don't do this with water, guys, because you might cut your fingers off. Just one little clove of garlic. Ugh. I'm okay. You just rough chop it, you don't have to cut it up super good. Awesome, so now what I got here is some clove or butter. You can use any butter that you like. This is unsalted. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna butter one side of the toast. With other grilled cheeses, you normally would go ahead and you would butter both sides of the grilled cheese, but since we have a lot of things going into this, we're just gonna butter one side. Make sure to get all the edges and all that kind of good stuff to help a nice browning. And then let me just butter this last one for you guys. I'm gonna show you what the next step is to making these even better than your regular grilled cheese. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our Parmesan cheese and we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of pepper to it. The pepper is gonna bring out the taste of this cheese. It's gonna just help season our bread a little bit. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that Parmesan cheese on top of that buttered side of the bread, and that's gonna give it a nice golden color, and at the same time it's gonna add in all this extra flavor. And then take your hand and go ahead and just like pat it in. So now that we're done buttering this bread and adding our delicious peppered Parmesan cheese to it, we're gonna go ahead and add in all of our filling ingredients. So just go ahead and turn those over. What we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna add our ingredients inside of the cheese. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab that tomato bacon jam, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna spread it onto our toast. And a little bit of this goes a very long way. And whatever you have left over, you can just put in the fridge, you can save it, put it in the freezer, do whatever you want with it. You can eat it with a spoon. You know, it'd be very unhealthy, but still. And don't be afraid to use your fingers and just get in there. Who cares? You don't need gloves. Just go in there and just get at it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add in some of that shredded cheddar. We're gonna put in some of that arugula. It's gonna add a nice peppery, fresh flavor for us. And then what I did is I just put the provolone in between the Muenster cheeses. You can do it the other way around just to make like a nice little cheese sandwich just to place right on top of that. And if you want, go ahead and sprinkle some more of that Parmesan pepper mixture right on top, because why not? And then you're gonna go ahead and cap your sandwiches. Bam. And if it ain't messy, it ain't good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get that pan nice and hot and ready. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some of that excess butter left over from buttering our breads. I'm gonna add a good amount of that in there. What we're also gonna do to help that butter not brown too much is we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil in there as well. Now when our pan is hot and ready, we're gonna go ahead and add in our grilled cheeses. Oh shit, this about to be fucking good. So to make sure that the cheese is all good and melting, ooey and gooey, we're gonna put the lid on there. And it's gonna let it do its job for about, I would say, 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 minutes. And then we're gonna flip them over and do the same one to the other side. So now that we've reached that 5-6 minute point, we're gonna go ahead and flip those over. Beautiful. Now you can see here we got like a nice toastiness on top of our grilled cheese from that Parmesan butter. Now you can see here we got this nice little toasted buttery Parmesan-y cheese outside And then all these flavors on the inside just melded together into this beautiful grilled cheese. This is all good. That's it. Go make it. If you guys like this video, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Goodbye.